Okay. Why for Death Diary, Soviet Union, opposition. Yesterday, 1501. Hello, comrades, and welcome back to another Death Diary for No Step Back. After Comrade Mano the Zombie, as chairman of the People's Committee for Focused Reproduction, introduced you to the historical and shared branches of the Soviet tree last week, today we'll be talking about the opposition against Stalin. The opposition to Stalin during the 30s was diverse and divided. Thus, I guess it is fitting that the work on the previous paths for the Soviet Union has been divided between several CDs, unlike normally, when one tree is designed by one CD. Thus, the creation of the CD Soviet. What? The right opposition. This is Lenin. Lenin. I got the honor of writing this diary, so I shall do my best at covering all the options available for the alternative communist branches. Turn music down? How about you turn yourself down? The music is... Fuck you. How is that too loud? I have it on fucking 1%, man. Yeah. Fucking monkey stream. Fix your sound, boys, okay? It's also my first Death Diary, as I'm relatively new to the content design team at Hoy. I hope you like it. So I'm gonna have the way I'm gonna roleplay this as a villain, okay? Please note, though, that at the moment of writing this Death Diary, a lot of things are still being worked upon and can change. Even before Lenin's death, there was a bitter power struggle within the party. Lenin introduced a ban of factionalism, which Stalin later used to defeat his opponents. Before that happened, several subgroups had formed behind outspoken leaders. Initially, the strongest one were Kamenev and Zinoviev and their so-called new opposition. Their main opponent back in the early 20s was Trotsky, leading what came to be known as the left opposition. On the other side of the spectrum was the right opposition, fronted by Bukhari. Of course, there were other groups as well, as the workers' opposition and the Decemist faction, and nothing was stable for as long as allegiance shifted. Stalin, forming his own faction, aptly called the Center, and using his positions as party secretary to his advantage, played the others against each other, gradually gaining total control of the Communist Party. While all this was happening, the surviving leaders and generals of what had been the disunited white movement were plotting in Manchuria. As communists, you will have three main options. One is to stay with the center and keep Stalin as the country's leader. That option has already been covered, so let's move on. The second option you have is a move to the left. So here we have the first focus on the left, Lenin, and it is clear that the Soviet Union has deviated from its promised path. Now, there's even talk of building socialism in one country, abandoning the workers of the world to their fate instead of standing. So I'm actually not very educated about this. Stalin was more like the whole world communism, and Trotsky was more like, let's focus on us. Kinda, right? I actually don't know much about this shit. While all you kids are reading books about this, I was fucking moms. It's reversed, actually. It's actually the other way around. Ah, okay. Okay. There you go. I'm gonna educate it. Okay, got it. As you can see from the tooltip, if you go down this path, you will end up in a civil war. There was simply no way Stalin will just hand over power to Trotsky or his allies. You have a few things you can do to make this easier for you once the war starts and to prepare for what comes after. Okay. Okay, a bunch of shit is happening. You can send trusted advisors aboard in order to keep them safe from Stalin. Relatively safe anyway. Stay clear of ice pigs. I get that meme. I know what that means because Trotsky got killed by one. I know that meme. Unlock send supporters abroad decision, allowing us to send sympathizers into exile. They will all come back when the Civil War's over. Is this Harry Potter music? Let's keep going. You can tie closer bonds with Smirnov. He makes a good drink. He's on ice. And his workers. Opposition, who were always close to the left opposition anyway. Additionally, you can convince a few notable military officers to side with you. That will strengthen the ties with the military, making your side stronger in the upcoming civil war. Like E.G. Primakov. The portrait is a work in progress. Also, Stalin agitated a lot against what he called wreckers, organized workers doing planned sabotage associated with the Trotskyists. Whether historically true or not, you can use the tactic against him and actually organize wrecker squads. Look at all these focuses I'll never take. Hey, if they have an achievement, I'm gonna take it. As can be seen from the screenshot above, you can point your fingers at the right opposition and hope that Stalin's paranoia will hit them better than your people. And you feel ready, you complete the Ignite the Flames focus to start the war. Unless, of course, Stalin's paranoia has forced your hand already. We'll return to Civil War in a second, but first let's take a peek at the other end of the alternative communist branch. That is Bukharin's side of the tree. Cool. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. Interesting, interesting. Sorry. If you want to oppose Stalin, but don't feel Trotsky is your guy, you can always go to Bukharin and the right opposition. In order to confuse everyone, this time we have the right to the right of the left. But at least the left is to the right of the center. To keep some chaos. Ever see? Bukharin was one of Stalin's first allies, and he used him to thwart Kamenev's plans. Later, he got brushed to the side and accused of plotting against Stalin. When the game starts, he's out of favor, out of power, but not entirely out of options. Just like the left opposition, you can try your luck at removing Stalin by starting a civil war. It should be noted, though, that the right opposition will have much lower support within the military than the left opposition has. It is, after all, Trotsky's Red Army. So if push comes to shove, you might have to get some help from abroad. Concessions to foreign powers unlocks decisions to get aid from foreign powers. For example, you can offer Vladivostok to the Japanese, making them more inclined to support when the war starts. What? Fuck Bukharin, bitch! Other options include trading future resources rights in return of military factories. If you're lucky, some nations might even send a general or two to help you. I can be an anime Russian communist? The new opposition and common focuses. But before we delve deeper into the Civil War, let's take a step not back, but rather to the side. As I mentioned, there's a reason the left and the right are together in the focus tree, and that is of course because, as I said before, alliances shifted all the time, and if you want, you can actually join forces against Stalin and ally with Zinoviev and Kamenev if you want to do that. By choosing the cooperative option, you get access to more advisors and get a higher level of popular support, but also, you get penalties due to the many differences of opinion in the party. Of course, you don't have to do this. If you'd rather work alone, you can always use the other side as scapegoats. Another very important part in this part of the focus tree are the focus intended to help to prepare for the actual war. You can start infiltrating the military to gain control of larger part of the Red Army's Navy and Air Force. When the war starts, secure more generals and admirals to your cause, or simply divert Stalin's attention to the military branch, making him target them instead of you. Similarly, you can infiltrate the NKVD. This can be extra useful if you're planning on having the right opposition replace Stalin. More on that soon. I'm not even done half yet. The Civil War mechanics. Okay, so let's return to the actual Civil War mechanics. In general, the mechanics are very similar to the Spanish Civil War mechanics. Oh god. Although slightly simplified, as the sheer number of Soviet states will make it overwhelming. Hey, don't do that offensive shit. Don't let me prepare an offensive. Don't do that. Thank you, Josie boy. Don't make me fucking prepare offensives, man. That is the worst shit ever. The first thing you have to do is decide from where you want to start the uprising. Depending on which branch you have selected, you will be presented with slightly different options. This is roughly what it will look like for the left opposition. This is very interesting for me because I think achievements will happen here. There's going to be achievements like as White Russia, the Eastern guys rise up as Mongolia and unite Russia or something. Thank you, that's for the 5, man.
Wow, it's very nice.
It's very nice. Thank you, Kovel. Thank you for the 8. Let's keep going. The first thing you have to do is decide from where you want to start. I just read that. Good job, Tommy. Once you have established a base, which will then be your base during the Civil War, you can start infiltrating neighboring states, as long as Stalin hasn't made a crackdown there first. In general, it's a good idea to keep the supply situation, blah, 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 blah. So it's like in the Spanish Civil War. Both players, aka you and Stalin, are going to click on buttons, and you're going to take over state, or he pushes you out. After a while, the war starts, and the states you infiltrated will be yours in the Civil War. When the war finally starts, the states you have infiltrated will be the ones you control, so doing some thinking ahead can be recommended. Note that you cannot infiltrate Central Russian states, nor Leningrad. Stalin and his cronies have a too tight grip over there. The military support focus unlocks a number of decisions that can be taken. Infiltrating admirals, generals, army, navy, or air force. These will ensure that you get more officers and or larger portion of the armed forces when the war starts. However, as with almost anything, dude, after 4 years of streaming, I completely forgot my ability to read. When I read more than 10 minutes, my ADHD fully comes in. I cannot pay attention for a long time reading. It is so crazy, man. Blah, blah, blah. You can also, as mentioned before, interact with other countries, blah, blah. So far, so good. However, Stalin wants, blah, 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 blah. Additionally, he will use whatever means at his disposal to ensure the loyalty of generals and admirals. So if you dally too long, you might lose a few key ones. If you take too long, he gets certain generals of yours. Okay. What is this emote? ADHD, Tommy? God damn, that's actually a very good emote. But perhaps most importantly, Stalin will continue with his own focus tree. And as those of you who read last week's diary remember, it has effects on your position. For example, the first Moscow trial will happen, and his paranoia gets increased. Could you please watch a video about Cypriot politics? I'm gonna ban you. I just want to make sure everybody understands. Sorry, but read the, I just have to take... I'm sorry, man. This is nothing personal. But I see you in 1 hour. What the fuck? I have ADHD here and this guy does this to me? The longer you wait with kicking off the war, the more people Stalin will have time to purge. So it's basically a balancing act. Some purges can be avoided, but it will cost you. Get ready and fight the Soviets. Later, you will play ISP, and all the best there. Killing Stalin.
ADHD.
Thank you,
getting mungus.
Thank you, dude. And sooner or later, you have to start the war. To be totally honest, that is not entirely true. If you go down the right opposition path, you can actually try to remove Stalin in a different way. If you manage to convert the current NKVD chief to your cause, you can attempt to assassinate Stalin instead, and then stage a coup claiming power in the chaos. That's good. That's easy. Better than the Civil War. You have to do this before Stalin's ally and basically second command Berizha becomes head of the NKVD. However, or else it will be too late. If you succeed, you will have a window of opportunity in which you can move to replace Stalin's temporary successor with the man of your choice, thus basically replaying the historic events of 1953 only some 15 or so years earlier. But beware, if the attempt fails, Stalin's paranoia will increase greatly, and that might lead to him launching a full-scale war against you. Infiltrating the rank and file of the NKVD in addition, blah blah blah. Stalin died after the Civil War. So you fight the Civil War, defeat Stalin, then what? Well, it's all good in life, man. If you do it as one of the two communist branches, you can still do basic... I'm actually kind of excited in the fascist and democratic branch. Next Death Diary, probably. Apart from those focus locked behind, the center focus, blah blah blah. It does, blah blah blah. I'm sorry, I don't... You have the Permanent Revolution sub-branch that helps you spread the World Revolution, which kinda lets you... It gives you command power and lets you drift people more, but also justifying war goals is very shit. Cool. If you have Trotsky as your leader, also you get an upgraded trait when you go down this route. You can make a final call on how to deal with any remaining opposition groups as well. Return democracy to the party. Oh my god. If you go for the Builder of the Red Army focus on your way build with Trotsky at the helm, you can also have Trotsky assuming command of the field forces. He becomes a field marshal. That's pretty good, man. Aside from your starting World Revolution, you will have the decision on how to proceed with what once was the Soviet Union. How far will you decentralize? Either you can go for a fully decentralized state, including giving greater autonomy to republics, in effect releasing them as puppets. Who the fuck releases puppets? Or you'll work towards giving the Supreme Soviet increased power, basically removing the need for a figurehead leader. Oh, you can make a Soviet. Oh, that's cool, man. That is pretty fucking cool, man. Nice. If you're going down the right opposition path, you will have a similar amount of things to do. You can do back to NAP sub-branch. It contains a bunch of stuff. You can also do stuff and stuff and stuff. There's a lot of different leaders. Oh, God. And... what? I don't understand this meme. Chat will have to explain. So this is the entire communist focus tree. Very sick, man. I am excited though. What's on the right? I am very excited what's on the right, man. Bring the Tsar back, man. That's what I always look for. What is this? It's the Russo-Mongol Empire. I smell achievement. You smell that? You smell that? They want you to do some random fucking country, Mongolia, and then the achievement is Genghis Khan. As Mongolia, win the Russian Civil War and take Paris or some shit. Ah, fuck. I'm ready. I'm ready to do it. I'm in, mate. I'm okay. Cool Death Diary. Sorry for not showing respect because my ADHD, man. I can't pay attention to this stuff. I just cannot.